My 28 sister Amanda, 30, never met her bio mom. My dad, 51, raised her alone until she was barely 1. My dad and my mom got married in 1992. Amanda knew that my mom wasn't her bio mother. She started pressuring my dad for information on her mom when she was around 17. My dad always gave her vague answers and refused to talk about her bio mom, which put a strain on their relationship. Enters our uncle, 49, and revealed the family secret. Apparently, Amy's mom wanted an abortion. She was 19, but my dad and his parents were able to bribe her. They offered her money if she followed up with the pregnancy, and she accepted. My grandparents sold one of their houses and gave her half of that money to Amy's mom when the pregnancy was viable, and the other half she received when she waived her parental rights over Amy to let my mom adopt her when she was 4. My uncle wasn't supposed to tell her that. My grandparents were furious. Amy stopped her crusade to meet her bio mom, and her relationship with my dad went back to normal. Amy never mentioned her bio mom again. Dad got her into therapy after that. A month ago, Amy found out that she was pregnant. The pregnancy was an accident. She switched birth controls. The problem being, Amy is about to start her surgical residency and her hours are insane. It is basically impossible to raise a baby while working in that rhythm, so she wanted an abortion. The problem is that Mark, 35, her fiancé, 6 years together, wanted her to keep the baby. It caused a big fight. In an idiot move to convince Amy to keep the baby, Mark told Dad about this. Until that point, no one in our family knew about this. Dad talked with her, and they got into an enormous fight. Amy got the abortion 10 days ago. Mark ended up breaking up with her. She is obviously really sad. My dad was acting like a jerk. He was pretending that Amy didn't exist. He didn't want to talk or see her. So on Christmas Day, we were exchanging gifts. When everyone had already finished giving each other gifts, Dad got up and gave Amy her present. He gave her an envelope in front of everyone and told her to open it. It was 3 pictures with something written on the back, a name, an address, and a phone number. Dad told her that he was tired of babying her, that this is a photo of her bio mom and her 2 sons, that was her bio mom address, and that he contacted her bio mom, and she is willing to speak with Amy. He gave her Amy's number. Dad thinks that they will have a great relationship since they are so similar. Amy broke down crying. I ended up in a fight with Dad, called him a monster for doing that to her. He just said he was just tired and left. We ended up leaving, and she spent the rest of Christmas crying on my shoulder. She is a mess since that. My younger brothers called me a Grinch for making a scene and ruining Christmas. My mom was silent during the whole thing. My parents have been giving me the cold shoulder since Christmas. Am I the idiot here? Not the idiot. It sounds like you and your sister are the only ones not acting like idiots here. Here's why every single other person involved is an idiot. 1. Her ex-fiancé is an idiot for trying to use her father to control her. 2. Y'all's dad is an idiot for berating her about something that was none of his business and then using Christmas as an opportunity to further lash out at her. 3. Your mother is an idiot for standing by and not saying jack crap while he did it. 4. Finally, every younger brother who thinks you're the issue here is an idiot because you're clearly not the one that made a scene. That would be your father. Oh my God. Women are not baby-making machines. Whatever their views on abortion, your father had no right to rub her decision in her face. He clearly has no respect, something that your brothers seem to have inherited. Good on you for standing up for your sister. You're not the idiot. You're a wonderful sister. Even if your parents sent you and Amanda a freaking engraved gold invitation to New Year's Eve, there is no way either of you should go. Their casual cruelty and blaming you for ruining their Christmas is reprehensible and victim blaming, and they need to be in timeout until they freaking apologize. I hope Amanda can start her residency without ongoing drama from the rest of her family. Support her as best you can. And her ex is a jerk. I have a 27-year-old stepdaughter. I've been in her life since she was maybe 5, so we are close and have a great relationship. Her name is Joanne. She is very much into the Instagram life. Actually, she has many followers and goes a lot on brand endorsed trips, etc. And unfortunately, she has a Great Dane that is little more than a prop for her Instagram pictures. Joanne has a personal assistant who usually takes care of the dog, but she is very badly socialized. My stepdaughter is in love with this dog and doesn't train it or discipline it whatsoever. I understand puppy love, but Joanne is on another planet where this dog is concerned. To give you an idea, it chewed through $4,500 of upholstery in my stepdaughter's car and she laughed it off. And she is very careful with her belongings, but because it was her dog it was forgiven straight away. My husband's cousin passed away 4 years ago from an aggressive cancer that left her gone a week after her diagnosis. My husband and his cousin were close growing up, like siblings, and we immediately offered to adopt her daughter out of love and desire to keep our niece close to us. She is 15 years old, and her name is Charlie. Joe and Charlie are so unbelievably close, except for where the dog is concerned. For whatever reason, the dog hates my 15-year-old and growls, stops her from leaving or entering rooms, follows her from room to room growing etc. Joe thinks it's super cute and funny, despite her father telling her many times that it's an accident waiting to happen and that she needs to discipline her dog. Charlie is terrified of dogs and reacts negatively too, which obviously sets off the dog even more, but she's a kid and is a jumpy kid at that. The onus is on Joe to calm her dog down. Joe wants to move into our place from now, January, because she is massively remodeling her home and expanding. She's offered us a symbolic, ridiculous amount of dollars to allow her to live with us, which is silly because she's our daughter and she's always welcome, but I told her it couldn't be a possibility unless she takes her dog to obedience classes, because the dog is one day going to lunge at Charlie, and that's just unacceptable. She said she hasn't got time to go to obedience classes and asked if we couldn't just take the dog and go ourselves. I'm considering it, but my husband thinks that we should tell her she can't stay unless she makes the time for these classes. Charlie is terrified and has made it clear she would rather not stay around the dog for an extended period of time whatsoever. That dog is going to cause an accident one day that will get it put down. Not the idiot. Safety is the #1 issue here, and seeing as the dog is constantly targeting the 15-year-old, it would be a good idea to have dog training lessons, or maybe not let it in the house at all. She has enough money to send you large amounts, so she could easily go to some dog training classes. Worst comes to worst, a professional trainer could teach the basics to the dog on their own. She asked a favor and you are free to say no or set limits on that favor. If she wants to live in your house she has to abide by your rules, and not letting her dog behave badly and attack your child doesn't seem that hard. To be honest, this whole thing sounds like a terrible idea and I think you should just tell her to find somewhere for her or the dog to stay, or at least demand a deposit in the event the dog damages your home. She's the idiot for not training her dog. She takes the dog to obedience classes, she works daily with the dog to ensure the training sticks, and then she moves in with you. I grew up with Great Danes and Mastiffs. They are fantastic dogs, but can absolutely be terrifying because of their size, and even more so if they decide they don't like someone. Obedience training is a must. Stick to your guns. My friend Alice and I decided to do a joint gift for my best friend Allie. We are all in our teens, think 14-15. Anyway, over the past few months I've been working on Allie's gift. I'd regularly call Alice up to see if she could help out with things like packaging or picking small things out for Allie. She'd always say she was busy and hang up. I managed to finish Allie's gift on time, and when it came to her birthday, we gave the gift in school, at lunch. I handed it to her and gave her the card. Originally on the card it said "from me," since I had done everything. Little did I know Alice had then took it and written her name on it and rubbed mine out. When Allie read it, she gave Alice a hug, then showed the presents and said to everyone, "Look what Alice did." Everyone started to compliment her, saying how the present was so done well and how did she find the time for it. Alice smiled smugly and then just went on about how she had to put aside time for the present, but it was so worth it seeing how happy Allie was. I lost it. I'm a very emotional person and this just pushed me over the edge. I started screaming at how I'd spent ages trying to ask Alice to help yet she never did, how I'd spent months on it and she hadn't checked up once. Everyone went quiet and Alice was fuming. I started crying and left. Allie followed me and hugged me. She said she knew it was me who did that, but let Alice have her moment. I was pissed, very pissed. Alice actually admitted that she didn't do it all and that I did most of it after all her friends asked her about it. They all texted me saying they were sorry, but that I was an idiot for causing such a scene and ruining Allie's birthday. I know Ellie doesn't mind, Alice is ignoring me, but am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Alice is an idiot and I'd have been really upset too, especially if someone had done something as malicious as rubbing my name off of a gift I spent months preparing. Don't waste any more time with this girl. Sounds like you spoke with Ali when it happened, but did she mention that you upset her and ruined her day like your other friends are saying? This might just be them stirring the pot. Heck, if Ali's okay, but I wouldn't worry about your other friends. I'm sure something else will happen and this will be old news. The only one to be allowed to be mad at you is Ali. It was her birthday and her party, so only she can decide whether it was ruined or not. Now you probably could have responded calmer, but at that age it isn't the easiest to keep your emotions under control. As an adult, that is something you should be able to though. Maybe some will say that you should have let Alice keep her moment, but this would only encourage her to keep such behavior up. Alice didn't deserve her moment because it wasn't hers. She got exactly what she needed and deserved. To be publicly called out for her bad behavior and suffer the consequences of trying to steal credit for her own ego. She got her moment. It's her fault entirely that her moment was bad for her. It's what she deserved. Tell Alice's friends that if Alice didn't want to be publicly called out, she shouldn't have been such a public liar. I've been with my fiancé for 5 years. We rarely fight and we have a lot of trust for each other. She and I are going to married in a couple of months. We have an inside joke together that we're allowed to love whoever we want the night before our wedding. We are both very aware it's a joke and it's not something we really want to try. We haven't said actual names during the joke yet, but she was curious. She said she knows exactly who she would love. I asked her who, she said I'd have to tell her mine first. To be honest, I had never really thought about who. But when she asked the first person that came to mind was her sister, who is 5 years younger than her. I know this is probably screwed up. I rationalized by saying that since her sister looks like a younger version of her, it's like I just want to cheat on my fiancé with my fiancé when we first met. Which now I realize sounds pretty awful. I didn't say and said I didn't really know. She didn't believe me for a second and kept asking. At one point she jokingly said, "Who knows? I might be able to hook you up with her." I guess she could tell on my face that I felt bad about who I thought. She said it's okay because it's just a joke and she wouldn't be mad. I, against my better judgment, blurted out her sister's name. She stopped smiling and asked me, "What the hell did you just say?" I went into panic mode and said the name of a celebrity. That didn't help the situation. She was unbelievable upset that I said her sister. I tried to give her my rationalization and that only upset her more. She was near tears and told me that I was such an idiot. I told her that she said it was a joke and that she wouldn't be upset over whoever I said. She said that hers was her hot high school teacher back when she was 17 and she couldn't believe that I wanted to love her sister. Until last night I slept on the couch because of it and she's still sour to me about it. I've talked to some friends about it. My close friends that are women said I'm an idiot. My guy friend said I wasn't an idiot, but I'm stupid. Am I the idiot? You're the idiot. I have a hard time believing anyone is this dumb in real life. It is a fantasy thing. When you name a real life person who is that close to her and who you probably see all the time, it loses the fantasy element. Also, your reasoning is not the best and I would not repeat that reasoning to your fiancé. Because I want to love a younger version of you, taken to the extreme, can put some very bad thoughts in her head about how you would view a daughter produced with her. I'm just saying. Your choice should be someone unattainable, like a celebrity or someone else you never interact with. Now, whenever the two of you are around your fiancé's sister, your fiancé will be wondering if you're fantasizing about her sister. How would you have liked it if she told you she wanted to love your brother? In her shoes, I'd break up with you. I can't believe you've lived on this planet for 27 years now, and you still did not realize that you should not say you want her sister. The only reason I'm saying everyone here is that the joke in general is asking for trouble. You both perpetuated it and she insisted that you answer. Next time you are planning to marry, keep in mind that the very best answer would have been "I seriously only want you." My dad has a business that me and my brother work for. My wants to leave the family business entirely to my older brother. He says it makes the most sense because my older brother is his oldest child and has been in this business the longest. He has a business degree and knows much more about the business side of this work. While I do the physical aspect of the job very well, I was a bit impulsive when I was younger, so he doesn't think it would be a good idea for me to be in charge. To be honest, I don't think it would be either, but considering how much I contribute to this business and that I am his son too, I think I should at least get some say in the future of the business and a stake in the company. Not even half, but some. In the end my father said no, but that I would get some money after he died. The whole thing really pissed me off, and I was starting to get bitter continuing to work there and be around them, so I gave my 2 weeks notice. I've just been trying to keep a neutral demeanor the whole time. This week is my last week, and Jared, the guy that represents our biggest client, was asking if I could take care of this other project next week. So I told him I would pass that along to my brother, but that I'm not going to be working here next week. Jared and I talk a lot and are pretty friendly with each other because I'm the one that mostly works this job. We've actually hung out outside of work a few times. So he asked why I was leaving. I just said for personal reasons. He asks where I was going to be working, and I told him I wasn't sure yet because there's not a lot of business that need employees with my skills. Anyway, today while I'm working, Jared's boss comes down and asks me if I will consider working for them. He said he's been thinking for a while of doing all this work in-house, but has been having trouble finding someone experienced since it's such a specialized field. He said he's always been very happy with my work, and that's why they always request me. He offered me a 3-year contract, and the salary is so much more than I would ever have made at my dad's company, plus it comes with benefits and an office. Not sure what I'll do with an office, but that seems pretty cool. I also get to pick out the equipment and I can hire 2 employees to work under me. Overall, it's an amazing deal, but I know that losing this client will hit my family's business hard. At the same time, it's not like I was asking for it or trying to steal their client. He was the one that came to me and wanted me. I thought about maybe using this as a bargaining chip with my dad to get some say and stake in the company, but honestly, I don't want to get it that way, and I just don't want to work with either of them anymore. I think putting in your 2-week notice was the final bargaining chip. If they didn't care enough to keep you then, they aren't going to care enough to keep you now. They'll just want their client back, and who knows what will happen after that. Maybe they keep their word to you, maybe not. Take this job. Secure your future. But be prepared for the backlash of your family. Not the idiot. Your dad was being completely unfair. You now have an awesome opportunity, go for it. I would, however, check any employment contracts you have and make sure you're doing it by the book. For example, my old contract stated I couldn't work in a competitor business until 6 months after I left my old place. No idiots here. You are not entitled to the company he built. You accepted a salary for your efforts. Your father gets to decide who he wants to have the business. The flip side is that you get to decide if you want to take the job. I would never share any confidential information from your father's company. That said, if you do this, it will likely end or significantly damage your relationships with your family. Be prepared to permanently burn those bridges.